We would like to welcome every one of you to our first annual Hall of Fame induction. It was a summer ago that I invited some stakeholders with long memories of the athletic program to meet and came up with a list of names of potential teams and people that should belong in the Hall of Fame, and that got the ball rolling. There is a Hall of Fame display. It's a TV screen show in the gym lobby, so the recognition of people will not be a one-time event. You're invited to see that. It's playing in the Yost gym lobby if you would like to. We think we have some of the people who have created great memories here at Hesston College on the athletic field and in the classroom and in their careers afterwards. So we're honored to be able to honor them today. Some people are not able to be here. We will have people introduce them and tell you about them. We'll start with Gerry Sieber talking about one of his great players who was an NJCAA All-American and also went on to be an NAI All-American and play in the NAI National Championship.
Okay, I guess you know who I am. I am happy to have the pleasure of introducing, of recognizing Abner Kisare. Abner was the son of a Mennonite bishop in Tanzania, Africa, and he attended Hesston College in 1972 to 1974. Abner was instrumental in helping our Hesston College soccer team to 2 regional championships in 1972 and 1973. Abner was an outstanding athlete with great speed and jumping and heading ability. He was a national junior college All-American, and here at Hesston he ranks 4th on the career offensive points with 47 goals and 11 assists. Abner then went to Goshen and played at Goshen on a national qualifying team in 1975. And I'm going to interject, this isn't on my thing here, but Ken, you played with Abner at Goshen on that team that went to the Nationals, is that right? No? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll go on. I'd like to share some excerpts from correspondence with Abner. He writes, "I will treasure the Hall of Fame award at the personal level, yet with the hope in my own leadership as executive director at a Center for Organizational Learning in Tanzania that I am contributing to my world what I learned at Hesston College, both as an athlete and a liberal arts student. I indeed feel the urge to mention John Lederach among all the other amazing Hesston College faculty who helped shape my young mind to grow and change and to become who I am, an image of God." I wish Abner was here so you could meet him and see him.
You're also going to talk about Solomon, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay. These are both athletes that I had the good fortune to be able to coach here. It's a little bit of a surprise, but that's 50 years ago, and that's quite a long time ago for an old man. But Solomon Abebe came to Hesston from Ethiopia, Africa in 1975. There in Ethiopia, he ran every day shepherding the family meager livestock operation of a few cattle, oxen, and goats. He was also inspired by Ethiopian runners who won 3 consecutive Olympic marathon races in the 1960s. And an interesting side note is that the Ethiopian runner that won the 1960 Olympic marathon ran the whole 26 miles barefooted. I don't know what surface they ran on, but anyway. And Solomon also occasionally would run 9 miles to a nearby town with a friend. A diminutive 5'7", 120 pounds, Solomon developed into one of the top distance runners in Kansas. And I'm going to mention some outstanding Hesston College records that he has. And if you're not a track and field person, you may not get a good handle or good grasp on how good these records are, but I'll still share them with you. He ran the mile in 4 minutes, 16.8 seconds. He ran the 2 mile in 9 minutes and 33.1 seconds, and he ran the 3 mile in 15 minutes and 8.2 seconds. And he ran a 5K, which is 9.32 miles, in 50 minutes and 10 seconds. At least he averaged a little over 5 minutes for 9 miles, 5 minutes per mile for over 9 miles. Solomon described the Hesston College faculty as most caring, understanding, and empathetic. Solomon went on to Goshen College and eventually taught teacher education at several small Midwestern colleges. He currently lives in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it gives me great pleasure to recognize Solomon as an outstanding Hesston College runner and student.
Okay, people that know me know that this is not my favorite thing to do, and just talk in front of people, so bear with me. I'm going to introduce Liz Hunsberger to you. She was a former faculty member of Hesston College Physical Education Department. Liz was instrumental in the introduction of women's athletics to Hesston. Woo. She best was known for helping implement the varsity volleyball team, and was also essential in creation and success of the women's basketball and softball teams. She became the first volleyball coach in school history in 1973. And the following year, my year, she led Hesston to 30-0 regular season record, and then we went on to take 3rd place at nationals. Hunsberger coached the Lark volleyball team until 1976. So a couple of thoughts about her. I contacted some teammates and things that we kind of remember. I'll make it real quick. She knew how to bring out-of-state players with 5 townies, that's what we were called because we all came from Hesston, and mesh that together to make a really cohesive, successful team. She prayed with us before every game, which I appreciated. She lived a meager life to do what she believed in, which was to come here. She felt that was her mission. She was passionate about creation, Kehr. She not only talked the talk, but she walked the walk. So we walked away with some life lessons that she taught us. And I really wish she was here. I would love to hug her neck and talk to her, but she's not. Liz Hunsberger.
Well, good morning. My name is Andrew Sharp. I'm one of the assistant athletic directors here at Hesston, and it is my pleasure to introduce Evan Oswald to you. Is there any Lark baseball players in the house? There we go. Oswald Field on campus, home of Larks baseball since 1996, appropriately bears Evan's name. His time here went well beyond baseball, though. Anybody that knows Evan or knew Evan knows how instrumental he was to the college community, far beyond athletics. He is best known as kind of the father of Hesston athletics, the creator of Hesston athletics, if you will, but also a very engaged faculty member and member of the Hesston family. A few years ago, when Evan passed, I had the honor of speaking in Arizona at his memorial to represent Hesston, and I'll share with you just a few minutes of what I shared then. My remembrances of Evan have everything to do with Hesston baseball, first as a player in the 90s, then as an assistant coach a few years later. We would make annual spring break trips to Glendale, Arizona, and play some games and have a good time and come back to Kansas kind of to kick off our year. And Evan, without fail, was at every one of those games. What struck me about that, what still stands out in my mind, and this is some time ago. Evan was probably in his early or mid-70s at that time, but he had an unmistakable energy about him. And as a player, I remember this, but then also as an assistant coach years later, I remember this, that every one of the guys was kind of locked in on what he was saying. He just had an ability to capture the room and to motivate you and to gather around and to rally towards a common goal. So he was our biggest fan that week, and really of all time, you might say. Evan was a tremendous ambassador to the Hesston College experience, and anybody that had the pleasure of working with him, it was hard not to catch his energy and his passion for Christian higher education, Hesston College in general. And what struck me at the memorial service, because up until that point I had known Evan as kind of one of the founders of Hesston athletics and so forth. But what was revealed in the memorial service is he made just as big of an impact on other areas and other schools and other institutions in his life. He lived a long life until his mid-90s, and it was absolutely full of impact and memories and passion and joy. And what a great example he was, and he left for all of us. So as a former baseball player, it's truly an honor to be able to introduce Evan Oswald in our inaugural Hesston College Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Well, it's really a pleasure to be able to introduce Lisa Schmidt-Graber here this morning. I had the pleasure of coaching Lisa from 95 to 97, and Lisa was the leader on our team that went to the national tournament in 1997. Lisa was one of the most competitive players I've ever coached, in addition to being an outstanding athlete. She was also a great teammate, and one of her teammates is sitting back here somewhere, Tasha Props Warner. Stand up and take a bow, Tasha. Tasha came all the way from Oklahoma just to be here for this. That kind of says something about what kind of person Lisa was. I have two short stories I'll tell about Lisa that kind of help capture who she was. In 1997, in the region championship game, we were down by 1 point with 4 seconds left on the clock, and the other team had the ball under our basket going the length of the floor. And I called a timeout, and I said, we have to steal the inbounds pass because we don't have enough time, if they get the ball inbounds, to foul them, and then they'll go shoot free throws, and then we'd have to go the length of the floor and try to score in a couple of seconds. So, true to form, Lisa stole the inbounds pass. They tried to throw a pass to half court, and I can still picture her leaping over and catching that. We called a quick timeout, and with 3 seconds left, we set up a play, and Becky Nitchie hit a shot that won the game. So, yeah, anyways, I get choked up just thinking about it. Another story is when we were at the national tournament, the first team we played was Genesee Community College from New York, and they had gone 30-1 that year, and they went 6-5, 6-3, 6-1 across their front line. And at the beginning, or before the game started, I went around the locker room to each player and told them what it was we needed from them that day in order for us to be able to win, to have a chance to win. And when I got to Lisa, I said, Lisa, you were a preseason NJCAA All-American, and today you need to play like an All-American. Do you remember that, Lisa? So Lisa did. She scored 35 points, had 15 rebounds, and went 9 for 9 from the free throw line. All of those were tournament records at that time. We didn't win. We lost in double overtime, but Lisa played phenomenal that tournament, and it ended up as our all-time leading scorer here as her time ended here at Hesston College. So I'll give you Lisa Schmidt-Graber. I broke your trophy. I'll set that there.
I've always been known to be a rule follower, so somebody told me what to do, I guess I did it. So, and they also told me I can only speak for a few minutes. So I'm trying. Real quick, I'll tell you about myself because I didn't have this written down because I think I can remember this part of it. My name's Lisa Graber now. I married Tim Graber. I met him here at Hesston College. We live in Wayland, Iowa. I grew up in Inman, Kansas, though, really close to here. And we have 4 kids. One was able to join me today, Morgan. She's a junior in college right now in Iowa at Mount Mercy University. The others couldn't make it because it ended up being our school's homecoming back at home. But our other kids, we have a freshman in college at the University of Northern Iowa, a freshman in high school, and a 7th grader. So that's our kids and our family. And we live on a turkey farm, so eat turkey. We'd appreciate it. So I'll get started here, sort of nervous, but I figured I cannot do worse than the speeches that I gave in Dwight Roth's speech class the first semester of my freshman year. And the rest of this I'll probably read so I don't head down a million rabbit trails. So let me start with sharing with you what basketball has meant and continues to mean to me. My first memories came from playing in our gravel driveway by my home near Inman. We would dig a free throw line in the toe, with our toes in the sand. On rainy days, we'd head up to the barn to play. However, playing in the barn meant that if we missed, the ball would go through the hole in the hay mound used to load bales, or it would hit a nail that might be poking out somewhere, and it would pop. It was very important not to miss. As I grew older, I played Y-ball, and specifically remember learning to stay between my person and the basket. If my childhood memory serves me, I think not understanding that may have lost us the 5th grade game. I learned that because I hated losing. I also remember always beating my brothers in pickup games in the driveway. I don't think they beat me. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk about that. That's my childhood memory. Now, after that game, I think our teams went on to win almost every game through junior high and high school. Again, that's my memory. But we did win state my sophomore year of high school, and unfortunately just placed 3rd my senior year. I was fortunate to experience winning, and I loved playing basketball. A small side note is that I do coach varsity girls basketball right now at our high school. We don't win quite as much as I was used to, but I do believe that we create a lot of memories, and they continue to learn life lessons. So Joel recruited me to play basketball, and then the spring of my senior year, he just called. You know, we had landlines back then. We'd get on a corded phone, and he just would call and follow up. And one day I told him that I don't think I'm interested in playing basketball anymore. Do you remember that? I thought that maybe I'd had enough. And he said, well, why don't you just try it for at least a year? So I did, and I'm pretty thankful I did. And it did continue on past just that year, I guess, obviously. The decision to continue on in basketball led me to experiencing the best teammates, friends, and coaches I think a person could ever ask for. Our team had a special chemistry, which led us to our success and eventual trip to Hagerstown, Maryland, our sophomore year at Hesston to compete in the national tournament. My personal success can't stand alone, and I can't even think about my time at Hesston without thinking about our team. Playing on this team was never a dread, and practice was always the best part of every day, minus our plyometrics and lunges. I'm convinced I would not have had the same drive and determination without such a special bond. I was driven to succeed because it meant we could all succeed together. Our time together had endless stories and memories, but again, I just have a few minutes. I would be amiss if I didn't share about the rest of my Hesston College experience also. My 2 years here came with the challenge of balancing life in the 2-year nursing program. I met my husband Tim at the time. That didn't seem to be quite the same challenge. And then I tried between that and juggling being a college athlete. It took a lot of time, but I was sort of a rule follower and wanted to succeed, so I did a 2-year nursing program. At the time, we didn't get to come in with any credits either. I came in from scratch. And I think it's still sort of a miracle that I completed that. Unfortunately, I was slow to learn that I actually had to show up to class and study. I about flunked out. Fortunately, I was quick to learn that the nursing staff and faculty cared about my success and the success of all their students. Bonnie Sowers, Marge, Joyce, Ruby, Marilyn are a few of the names that come to mind. I found their support and encouragement when I needed it. Another fear I had, and this is probably not appropriate, but I'm saying it anyway, I was afraid that if I didn't pass, that I would have to transfer to Bethel. And that meant also leaving my Hesston friends early. So that was pretty big motivation. To finish the story, I did still end up transferring to Bethel, but I got my 2-year degree here and went on there to continue to play basketball and get my BSN. There I met Floyd Sowers. He was my coach. I also threatened not to go there in that summer before I ended up going. I don't know what my issue is. But anyway, I met the Sowers family. Floyd and Bonnie both hold a special place in my memories. Bonnie is my nursing director at Hesston. Floyd is my basketball coach at Bethel. And a quick way to describe them as I reflect is how much they cared about people and unconditionally. They were patient and offered grace to many, including myself. I couldn't understand that at the time, but I think I'm starting to get it now. I'm grateful for my parents, all of my teammates' parents. We made great new friends and memories. To my family, my siblings, the community here that supported our team. I don't think my parents ever missed a game in those 2 years. Both sets of my grandparents were able to come to Maryland to watch us play. And those are just such priceless memories. To wrap up, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure the rest of the team, that our 2 years here rank up with some of the best years of our life. I thought the slogan at the time was start here and go everywhere, but I think it's still a slogan, and we did that. We're scattered everywhere, but we stay in touch. We continue to reflect back on practices, road trips with our rear view mirror ornament that was a hot dog wrapper for some reason, Joel's famous lines about somebody's grandma, Tash's mittens, teaching me my first post moves. I didn't have any when I arrived here. All I could do was turn around and shoot, so I gained some post moves. And then trying to teach our Oklahoma teammates how to not jump in the air every time they made a pass. It was quite a challenge. I think you did a good job. So, to sum up those years and to thank everyone that had such a large impact on me and our team, it doesn't seem like enough to just say thank you. So we hope we make you proud as we all work and love others well in our communities that we've landed in. The seeds sown here are growing, and hopefully we are all spreading seeds that will leave positive impacts on those around us. It's an honor to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. Thank you, and thanks for believing in me.
Appreciate it, Quez. Thank you. My name is Matt Hiebert. I am the men's basketball coach here at Hesston College. It is my honor to introduce to you all Brent Eichelberger. Brent graduated from Hesston College in 1985. Brent set the standard of what it means to be a basketball player here at Hesston. As a former player here myself, stepping on the floor, you always wonder, man, who is the dude? Who is the guy? What is that standard that was set? Brent is the standard in so many different ways, and he's what so many players who come through Hesston aspire to be and aspire to achieve. Brent is the second all-time leading scorer in Hesston College history. He's right behind number one for that title. As a freshman, Brent averaged almost 32 points a game, and as a sophomore was at 26 and over 16 rebounds a game. He owns the all-time rebounding record, second in points, like I said, career blocks in a season and in a career. The guy's name is all over the Hesston College record books. After his time at Hesston, Brent went on to play for 2 years at Biola University in California, where he went on to achieve a lot more success. Unfortunately, on Thursday evening, we learned that Brent would not be able to be here today. Unfortunately, his wife, Renee, her father passed away, and the services are today and tomorrow. So we send our prayers to his family and to her family, but Brent did send us something that he prepared, and I'd like to read that now. Thanks to leadership at Hesston College for this honor. Basketball is a team sport, and I view today as shared recognition with many talented teammates during my 2 years at Hesston. In reflecting big picture on my time at Hesston College, what stands out most in my mind is people. I'll start with meeting my wife-to-be. Today, Renee and I are blessed with 4 grown children, 3 son-in-laws, 6 grandchildren, with another due next month. I think of solid leadership of the college with then President Kirk Allman, our head basketball coach, Ron Koppenhaver, friendships and great times with so many other students, faculty and staff, which of course I have to mention, including my mom, Luann. I could go on, but ultimately people made the difference. So many people with a heart for God. I'm grateful for all the awesome people I learned to know those 2 years. I'll close with something I intended to share with the current basketball team later this afternoon. After Hesston College, I played basketball my junior year in the Los Angeles, California area at Biola University. During that time, Renee and I had the occasional opportunity to attend Evangelical Free Church in Fullerton, California, where Pastor Chuck Swindle was lead pastor. Later in life, I came across one of Pastor Swindle's quotes, which has been my lifelong favorite. The significance of this quote was elevated even further in experiencing God's grace and mercy through the journey as a stage 4 colon cancer survivor. The title of this quote is Attitude, and it goes like this. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make it, break it, a company, a church, or a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it, and so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. Thank you, Brent.
Hello, I am Cassidy. I'm the volleyball coach here at Hesston College, and today we are honoring Beth Yoder Hostetler. Beth was a very well-rounded multi-sport athlete at Hesston College who competed in volleyball and track and field. She was a member of the 1974 volleyball team that capped a 30-0 regular season with a third-place finish at national tournament and was also named to the all-tournament team. She also achieved NJCAA All-American status in track and field, tying for second in the 100-meter hurdles and placing third in the long jump in 1976. She still holds records here at Hesston in the 100-yard hurdles, 440-yard relay team, long jump, and javelin. After her time here at Hesston, Hostetler went on to run track at Division I Wichita State University. Today we are honoring Beth.
Okay, well, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for my parents, because back in my day, being a female athlete was not the thing to be. It was kind of tough to find places. In fact, when I was in high school, the only sport that we had was basketball. Sorry, Joel, didn't like basketball, so I didn't play any sports at all when I was a freshman in high school. And then we had a PE teacher come in and start the volleyball and track programs, and so I gravitated towards those, and I'm so glad I have. So I really didn't even know about the game of volleyball until I was a sophomore in high school. So it was a quick journey till I came here to Hesston College. Just 3 years of volleyball and track in my pocket. My parents were my biggest fans. I'm going to go back to them. They're looking down now. And they drove me around to track meets. They were at every volleyball match that was within driving distance for them. And I can't appreciate them enough for backing me, for their little tomboy girl being in sports. Okay, so while at Hesston College, I experienced several lifetime firsts. My freshman year, our volleyball team, as you heard, went on to a regular season of 30-0. That was my first zero-loss season. We earned a trip to nationals in Baltimore, Maryland. That was not a given that we were going. We had to ask alumni, businesses, everybody to chip in to give us the money to be able to fly out to Baltimore. Speaking of Baltimore, that was my first airplane ride. I was voted to the National Volleyball All-Tournament team. That's a first. Trip to my sophomore year was the first year for women's track and field nationals. So I competed in nationals there in long jump and hurdles and placed third in long jump and tied for second in hurdles. My first time to travel out of the country was to Jamaica during interterm. Some of you remember what interterm is. A lot of you don't. That's where we spent a month doing some kind of service work or visiting another culture or whatever, and mine was Jamaica. That's why I learned to ride a 10-speed bike. It's the first time I'd ever been on a 10-speed bike. We rode around the country of Jamaica and camped out on 10-speed bikes. First time to be actively recruited by 3 state universities, KU, K-State, and WSU. I didn't know that a female athlete could receive athletic scholarships. Didn't know that. Until my coach, Liz, said, Beth, you see those 3 ladies sitting up there in the stands? I said, yeah. They go, they're recruiters here looking at you. I went, okay. Then she had to tell me what a recruiter was. Because I looked so perplexed. Anyway, all 3 made offers, and I chose to go to Wichita State because they would let me double sport, volleyball and track. And while at WSU, I went on to be Senior Athlete of the Year on graduation. Many more life experiences that I experienced here at Hesston College, not related to sports, but for which I'm forever thankful. I've always said, I would never trade my 2 years at Hesston College for anything. So the motto, start here, go everywhere, is certainly true. Thank you.
It's my honor to introduce Gerry Sieber to you. When I came to Hesston College in 2010, I knew about Gerry because I played soccer at Goshen College in the late 70s, early 80s, and we won conference 3 years in a row, and we always had 4 or 5 players from Hesston on the team. In fact, I was replaced in a starting lineup by a Hesston alum, so thanks, Gerry. When I came in 2010, as coaches, we had a nickname for Gerry already, and the nickname was, you know what it was, Andy, right? The Legend, yeah. And it was great to work with Gerry. I learned a lot of things from Gerry. Gerry was a dogged recruiter. If you ever, our office walls were thin in the old offices, and I could listen to Dustin Gallion recruit for basketball, and I could listen in on calls when Gerry recruited. The other thing Gerry did is he cared deeply about his athletes. On rainy days, the women's soccer team would practice in the CAC, and the cross-country team would warm up in the CAC, and we'd have halvesies. And it was always interesting to hear the pre-practice guidance that Gerry gave the cross-country team. Gerry was also very, when I came as the women's soccer coach, Gerry, if you read his bio, had coached soccer a long time, and he was very encouraging. When he saw things that he liked in practice, he let me know. He shared tapes and videos with me. So as a coach, Gerry was very encouraging. So the things that you should know about Gerry is that he's a Hesston graduate, played multiple sports. He coached soccer here for a long time, winning 10 region titles. Had 247 wins and 8 Coach of the Year awards. He also then returned to coach cross country, a program that was not doing very well, and he brought both teams to national prominence. Both the men's and women's cross country teams were nationally ranked under Gerry. He was a great PE teacher, great mentor. And I'm excited to present to you Gerry Sieber as a member of our Athletic Hall of Fame.
I want to thank you, Bryan, for those kind words. And I want to, first of all, express my sincere and humble appreciation to Hesston College for this very kind honor. My tenure here at Hesston was always more than a job. One way I might term it, or would prefer to call it, is a sacred journey. And I loved this journey here on the Kansas prairie earth, and I love the people of this community at Hesston College. My first year of coaching at Hesston, in the fall of 1968, I was 23 years young, and in some ways not well prepared to coach 3 sports. It's important for me, I think, to acknowledge that I made mistakes, some mistakes. I did some things right, hopefully, in the highly charged emotional activity of winning. Thankfully, we won often. Being a young, competitive athlete and coach, winning was obviously very important to me. I once heard a professional baseball player say, "If you don't play to win, why bother keeping score?" My coaching philosophy evolved, and I gradually transitioned to some other important goals for our athletic teams. The change started when we had a guest speaker here at Hesston College at our fall faculty retreat. His statement that he shared back a long time ago really has stuck with me. And the statement goes like this: if you don't enjoy the journey, you probably won't enjoy the destination. My philosophy gradually changed to pay more attention to the team culture and enjoying the journey together. And I do have to give a lot of credit to my athletes who were quality people who greatly enhanced the team chemistry. And I could tell you a lot of anecdotes to substantiate that statement. I mean, these were 18, 19-year-old kids that knew how to have fun. So I have to do credit a lot of the athletes that I coached here. And just to summarize the point I've been making, one of my cross-country athletes' preseason goals was stated to make good memories. And sometimes I think maybe I came across this idea of enjoying the journey and having good memories too late in my coaching career. My tenure at Hesston College took me on many journeys to many places. One place of note was I took the Hesston College soccer team on four interterm trips to South America. They weren't intramural players. This was an interterm trip. The very best journey, though, that I made thousands of times was to the Hesston College soccer field. Many of my best memories happened there. You know, high school football has its Friday night lights, but here on our Hesston College soccer field, we had our own Saturday night lights. Anyone who was here for those Saturday night lights, especially the soccer players, can attest to the mystical and magical environment on our home soccer field that gave us many special memories. The big crowds, the lights, the pep band, the cheerleaders, the score and the scoreboard, the 11 players on the field becoming one, and the crowd's roar when we scored a goal. I'd like to thank the many special people who nurtured, supported, and loved me on this journey. One would be my parents, who supported my love for playing sports, and I do love sports. And I have two wonderful daughters, Kendra and Kelly and their families, and my dear wife of 53 years, Vonnie. And they're here today, and I'd like for them to stand and look at the audience. These are important people in my life. So will my family please stand and turn around? Come on. Come on. I greatly appreciated my coaching colleagues in the athletic department. Joel was one of them, Bryan's another one, as well as the many great assistant coaches that I had over the years. I'd like to especially mention Evan Oswald, who for me was a wonderful coach, mentor, and friend for all of my life. Finally, I'd like to thank all the athletes that I had the privilege to coach here at Hesston College. I want to again thank Hesston College for this honor. My prayer is that God will graciously bless and use Hesston College, its facilities, its activities, and beautiful community of people for the work of educating the whole person.
Thanks to each of you for attending this event. We're looking forward to it becoming an annual event. Just one note, there's another partners event in here at noon, so the friendly conversations you have should perhaps move out to the lobby fairly soon after we complete. I'd like to end with prayer, if you would join me in prayer. Lord, we thank you for the example and the mentorship of our Hall of Fame inductees, not just their experiences at Hesston College, but how Hesston has impacted their lives, and they've continued to make an impact in the world. We ask that you would be with all of our current athletes as they make memories and create joy on the field. Thank you for this time together. We pray in your name. Amen. You're dismissed.